Welcome
to your morning cup
with iBenz Academy.
We're Cash.
Hi, everybody. Today is a very special episode. We have some amazing guests with our group today. And what better way to talk about groups than with one of our favorite, most fabulous groups ever, our iBenz Academy Instant Manifestation Workshop Facilitators. Yay!
Hi, guys. Welcome. All
Hello.
right.
Hi.
So we've been working with the Instant Manifestation Facilitators for a little over a year now, right? Well, actually, no,
Like
almost
2 years.
like we're going into 2 years. It's almost been 2 years that we started working together.
2.5. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, we'd love for you to introduce yourself to the audience. Maybe we could start off with you, Larry, if you could get us started off with an introduction.
Well, okay.
The man who needs no intro, please intro yourself.
Oh, yeah. Me, I guess I'm an evolution of me, aren't I? Today I'm almost a fisherman again.
Yeah, this is like a side of you we haven't seen in a while.
It's really strange. It's like a second group, a different group of people. So the group that we're in right now, I identify with as what I do, what I am, who I am. Is kind of like, I don't know if it's frequently common with everyone, but often you take on an identity that's your main job, your main work, your main occupation in a way. And so that's who I am. Thinking of myself for the last couple of years is I am us, the IMW Facilitators group. So that's who I am.
Oh,
Nice.
That's so nice. Thank you, Larry.
Mm-hmm.
And then how about you, Ileana? It's a tough one to follow now.
Well, that was very nice. What you say, Larry? I don't know why I'm a little emotional this morning anyway. So,
Aw.
I was watching Interstellar with my son, and it was just that the feeling of groups and like community or how we connect to each other. Well, in the last 2 years, definitely identify myself very different. I mean, I never thought about it until you just mentioned it, Larry, and it was just clicking like what I become today, and then like who am I?
Yeah. Kind of deep question to start a conversation, huh?
Yes, it is. But it's interesting because it's hard to think about myself as a singularity in a sense of, because we've been involved into the Instant Manifestation Workshop and as a facilitators as a group for a while. And a few months ago, we really worked to gel and to become a cohesive group. And that was really nice. That was like, it's just really how we identify ourselves. Like the work we do is something that we do every day now in our daily lives, how we talk, how we think, and part of our goal, I guess, as we construct the new paradigm, right, through the tools and through how we embody the work. Yeah, I'm a iBenz Academy Instant Manifestation Workshop Facilitator.
Yay!
Yeah, you are.
Wow, I love this. Amazing to feel into us as our intro.
All right, we're going to pass the mic over to you, Alex.
Yeah, so I can echo what Ileana and Larry just said. It's just amazing to tap into our natural state and to remember how it is to balance between individual and us as a group. And we are getting pretty good at it since we've been meetings for 2, 3, 4 months. I can't remember now. Anyway, it's a lot, and we are kind of doing it weekly, on a weekly basis, which is awesome. Well done, us. And I'm super interested to see what we will co-create further.
Fabulous. Thanks, Alex. And that leads it to our newest IMW facilitator, Ms. Adelina.
Yes, thank you. I was listening to you and I was like, oh, but I joined actually this year the team of facilitators, and I've been training, which was so awesome. And though I know it feels that I was like part of this team from the beginning, right? Yeah,
Definitely.
Yes, this is such a deep question this time in the morning.
But
But
no, a deep question.
It's the evening for Alex, so it's the evening for us.
yeah. But what I know for sure is that since I've done the workshop, which was more than a year now, oh my God, yeah, it has become part of me. And since then, I could see how applying the methods and applying the tools and being conscious of now how to see now the things, right? Well, I started to manifest differently things into my life with another perspective, and make things more clear and easier for me. So yeah, so I don't know if I can answer now who I am, but for sure, IMW is part of me.
Okay.
Part of who I am.
Awesome.
You part of us.
And we didn't edit. I think one thing too that isn't recorded is that we also did a connection exercise right before this. So we all totally stepped into our strength is your strength is our strength. So that it's like, what are we talking about? Individual.
What's an intro?
Oh, that's good. Nice.
It's so amazing to feel into this energy of a group. Like it's not separate from us because we are it and it is us. And even that question about identity and the evolution, it also can change depending which groups we're in too, right? So what a fabulous way to open our conversation today. I was not expecting intros going into so much depth, but
Instant expanded awareness.
Yep. Thank you, us.
All right. So one of the things we were discussing, and I think we've also been looking at this as a group as well, are the healthy dynamics of a group. So first, we've been talking about, and Inelia has been talking about groups and connections and having your tribe and multiple tribes, not just one tribe, and experimenting. We're all testing it out and learning from that. So with that context in this group and what we've been doing together as well, we wanted to just explore why groups, why are we working on anything as a tribe, right? Versus on our own.
Yeah, what's the point? Why have a group?
And in particular for our high frequency good works, our life in the new paradigm.
For me, the obvious answer is if I am on my own in the woods, I guess the lone wolf, then I get pretty convinced I'm right about an awful lot of stuff.
I don't believe
pretty much everything that you say. You did. You're right. I'm right again. Yeah, you got that nailed. You know exactly what's going on. I could solve the world's problem in one afternoon, but yeah, the perspectives, you know. Oh, wait a minute, I didn't think about that. So that's one of the, you know, benefits of having healthy group. Healthy group, it's important to distinguish in a way, you know. Healthy group, supportive, not so healthy group. Oftentimes we'll use a story on the res, believe it or not, about a crab bucket full of crabs. And in that way that the story is told on the res, and I'm sure it's different everywhere, but on the res, how can you tell the difference between a bucket of Indian crabs and a bucket of cowboy crabs? And cowboys and Indians, okay? So in the cowboy crabs, they represent a healthy group. The cowboy crabs, if one of the crabs gets his leg over the bucket, the other one's helping out. And in a crab bucket full of Indian crabs, if one of the crabs gets his leg out, they pull him back in. So healthy group, right? Healthy group's important because then your perspectives are supported more so than the other way around. So
Sure.
it doesn't mean that I'm not right all the time. It's just that I get to share how right I am with everyone else.
Exactly.
You've trained us well.
And
I'm
you're
still working on that one.
and your rightness helps us too.
Still working on everybody else, but I'm pretty rich.
Yeah, that's such a great way of putting it. Just having new perspectives, right? And that's something we've talked about in a podcast episode before, that literally just being with others expands your awareness because there are literally other perspectives and awarenesses. So you see more, right?
Yeah, it's so long you're open to them though, too, because that's part of, I think, what makes the healthy group is you're open to seeing the other perspectives instead of closed off to challenges to your perspective. That's a key difference, I think.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah, great point, Larry. I think sometimes it's boring to be just the smartest, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to have more perspectives. And as Inelia says, you know, good allies and good counsel. Oh my God, that changes everything. So, and has a very big impact. And moreover, when you are up to like a big goal or something that you want to achieve, like really want to achieve, then it is good to have allies. So you make sure you see all the ways of how you can reach that goal, because it's not just one way to get there. And when you have allies, so you get to see more ways of how you can reach your goal, and that's like, woo, mind-blowing and makes things so much easier. Yeah.
Definitely good reasons to have groups. Good allies and good counsels.
It's funny because in the past it happened to be in the same office with my colleagues, and I had a question in my mind and I didn't know the answer, and just by saying, hey, I need your help with that, but I didn't ask the question exactly why did I wanted. The answer came just because the group was there, and I was blown away. How is that even possible to have the answer without asking the question? It's just super fascinating.
That is pretty fascinating. That's awesome.
Oh, I
And I
love when
think,
that comes up.
yeah, and I think what Alex just mentioned about, it just describes one of the qualities of a healthy group. You know, when you are connected, when you have that connection, whatever the answer that you're seeking for, it's there, right? Like you don't need to do it on yourself. Like, oh, how I'm gonna, it's just gonna be there. And that's what I remember we were starting experiencing when we were doing the facilitators, and like being cohesive and being a group, that we will look at the same things and somebody will have a specific perspective and somebody will have an answer, a question. And then somebody will have, oh, I have this. And we all were like, oh, like it was there. It was just our awareness. It was our information. It wasn't, and we all were aiming for the same goal, right? Like it wasn't just my question for this particular thing. It was for the group. It was our goal, which was very interesting to experience. Very nice. Like you can now feel what is being connected, like deeply connection and being a group. Yeah.
Super nice. It's amazing how things can just be filled with ease, right? Like what you just described. It's not all on you, Ileana, to figure something out, or it's my question. If I'm a student, it's us, it's our question and our strength. So we can rely on each other, and it's so much easier. It's literally just easier and filled with ease. That feeling is just so nice, you know? Don't have to figure it all out on your own.
Yeah, when those moments when things start coming up in a group where it's like, did I think of that? Or was I perceiving that you were thinking of that? Or how did that? Because that's exactly what I was thinking, or what I wanted, or whatever it is. And it's like, we wanted it, you know, and that's such a cool kind of validation of our connection when those things come up and we're all tuning into it as well.
But let's be honest, it hasn't always been easy getting to where we are today.
What do you mean? No, it's been fine.
Hello, my name is Kara. I'm a recovering lone wolf. So what are some challenges that we faced in both becoming a cohesive group or working in groups? Because, you know, that's not always easy, but what are some of the things that might come up or have come up for us?
Well, there's more than one right, which is kind of a problem.
That's true.
That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is super tricky because I remember sometimes when, you know, things are not going my way, I completely want to go, okay, I'll do it myself. I think it will go faster. And I tried the programming, right? Like, okay, I'm just doing it myself.
Yeah.
Not like, okay, that's a red flag.
Yep.
Guess that would be your niggle. One of your niggles comes in, it's like, oh, don't do that.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that one. Just do it myself. And then it's not filled with ease at all. Quite the opposite.
Right.
Just more work, more challenge.
It's interesting to think about and look at for a second, at least, that when you become part of a healthy group, and then you go to do things as yourself, like you were just describing, both of you. It's like, I'll just do it myself. It's too complicated, too hard, or too whatever, or too something. It's too something. That something is interesting to look at. But what's also interesting is that when you do go to try to do it yourself, the thing that was supposed to be something you were doing with your group, that doing by yourself thing is like a mountain of difficulty. Even worse, it's like, I could just put this out, no problem, but no, doesn't seem that happens. So navigating group, not group, it's an interesting thing to think and look at, because I notice that does come up a lot more often than not. It's like when you become part of that group and then you try to go off on your own, you kind of have there's like, I think, energy connections between everybody, and there's like, no, you're not going off on your own.
I'm gonna help too. Dang it.
It's very interesting what you said, Larry, because at least what came up to me along the way was the idea that, okay, so if I'm a part of a group, then I need to agree what the group decides, and my point of view is not taken care of, or not taken into consideration. And I realized that this is exactly the opposite. It's my point of view is very important for the group, because our strength is your strength, and my ideas is the group ideas. So this was one program that changed a lot after it has been processed. It's
Mhm.
basically, okay, I can speak up, and if the group says, okay, let's tweak it, because it happens a lot, and I witnessed that also. I have a tiny, small spark idea, and another one says, okay, what if we do this and that? Oh my God, yes, let's do that because it's awesome. Oh my God, yeah. So it's expansion of awareness into a frequency, into a frequency higher and higher. And it's awesome. It's super
Hey
productive.
guys, we are talking here about groups, but I think we should add it's about groups of cats.
Yes, cats and fairies.
It's like we are groups of cats and fairies, right? So
Kinda.
kind of that, right? So it's challenging, it is, but well, once I recognize, well, I am a cat too, so it's not like everybody is a cat and I'm something else. So so then let's find some solutions. Let's do something, you know, and move forward, right?
Well, I think the thing that you're trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong, is that I'm a cat and so are they. So I understand why things are like this.
Yes,
'cause
yes, exactly.
well,
Yes.
don't get mad. Just embrace the cat nature for a moment. You know, that's
Yeah,
the way
we're all
it be. You
feline.
don't have to. Not a group of robots that just say yes. I have that all by
Yes.
myself, but everybody there says yes every time.
Yes, exactly that. Thank you for explaining, because that's what I meant. And yes, embrace the cat's nature and go with it, you know, go along with it. And so instead of going against and not enjoy the moment, you just go along and you also have fun. Yeah.
Excellent point.
I
This,
really like Alex's point.
go ahead, Ashley.
I was just gonna say, I also really like Alex's point in addition as well, where it's like the speaking up side, because some folks might speak a lot, myself included, in that group, and then some folks might not speak up, you know. And when we're in a group, we have that responsibility that if you have a niggle or you have a feeling on something or a perspective, to voice it. And there's times where it's like, you know what, I'm gonna let the techs like handle the technical stuff, and I'm just gonna support them and they make the decision on it, you know. Whereas there's other times where, you know, if you have a feeling on something in the group, it's important to also be present and engage in that, right? And share your voice and your perspective as well. And for the group to create a space that everyone's perspective can be shared and heard.
And those perspectives are important and helpful to the group. Like you said, Alex, it's like, oh, I don't really agree. I don't know if I want to say anything. But by doing so, our awareness expands and we can consider a point maybe we didn't see and then look at it and resolve it, or, you know, grow from it as well. And that's so powerful. But it wouldn't have happened if you don't say anything, right?
Yeah.
Excellent point, Kara. And also to that, on the same note, and another characteristic of a healthy group is that space for everyone to express, and a safe space. It's another thing that changes a lot in the dynamic of a healthy group.
Yeah, what it came to my mind was that like recognizing everybody's superpowers in a group, like it always in a healthy group comes up, and one person doesn't have to do everything, and you can rely on your group and like, oh yeah, this person is super good at this, and you just, you know, you move out of the way, and that person can take care of that particular strength. And I think that's one of the very important things, and where by allowing everybody to express what they have to do, or you expressing your niggles, then you start seeing what's everybody's personalities and strengths to add to the group.
Yep. Literally, our superpowers help us all. And it's
Our superpowers are your superpowers.
that's right. It kind of takes the pressure off too, right? It's like if you're really good at something, you can be really good at that one thing, and then someone else can be really good at that one thing, that other thing, and then we have all these things we're really great at, and that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's not that one data point, like perspective is right and all the others were wrong. It's just that like that those data points all come together to create the full perspective, at least as full as we can see at that moment in time, right? And enhances our ability to do.
Yeah, some of the challenges that I've personally experienced, it's almost like a relearning, like learning how to collaborate with people outside of power over others or a hierarchy, and even dealing with new forms of communication like consensus or using a niggle language, or making sure that other personality types have space to share. Because in old structures of groups, it's not always relevant. It's like, you know, if you're in a hierarchy, yeah, it doesn't matter what you think, go do what I tell you, right? Not quite the same when you're in a group of cats, all with equal power and perspective. Well, at least not equal, but in the sense that we all have equal value. We're all valuable, but we have different strengths, right? And sometimes that dynamic can cause ego issues. So that's definitely been a challenge for me for sure, but it's a learning, you know, learning to figure it out, I think, is part of it. Just got to practice. So we've seen a bunch of these challenges. We've experienced many of them firsthand, sometimes over and over. So what are some ways that we have overcome these challenges, both as an individual and a group? What are some tools or tips or resources that our audience can think about or use when thinking about some of these challenges?
Well, what comes to mind in my mind right away are some of the challenges I had in other groups. Like, for example, in Coast Guard boot camp, we were a bunch of people who had to gather together as a group and kind of work together as a group and bond as a group and all these other kind of things as a group. But we were from all different kinds of everything, you know, and different levels of wanting to be there or dealing with the stress or the strain or the whatever's. And so in that case, when anyone got slightly out of line or slightly ego triggered or slightly I'm right, or they even thought about something, there would be a giant boot that would stamp down on it and eliminate immediately, right? And then punish everybody else at the same time. So you got like reinforced boot on your neck, which I gotta say works. It worked, but you know, that does definitely require hierarchy and, you know, power of others and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. At the end of the time, you do have a very tight knit, well-functioning group who form through hardship, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and punishment and torture and all the other things. So that's a way. or you could take responsibility yourself, right? That's like, I would think of it like growing up, and that you're responsible for the group and yourself, and the feelings that are coming up or the emotions that are coming up or the stress or the strain, those kind of things don't need a boot from somebody else to come smash on you. You can process it. You can use the tools that you've learned. You can be an adult about it and figure it out. You can ask for help. You can consider that other person's also help. In other words, you be your own boot in a sense, but you don't smash yourself. You just heal yourself, take care of yourself, and give consideration for yourself without needing somebody else to force you to stay in your group. You know what I mean? So that was the kind of thing. So sometimes for some people, myself included, there's like you're looking at, okay, I'm in this group and it's a high frequency group, but it's really difficult and these things are hard and I don't understand, why is it so hard? It's supposed to be a high frequency group, it's supposed to be easy. Well, we're trained to have a boot and we're learning how not to have a boot, you know? So got to give consideration for the learning how to not have a boot. And still bond, you know?
Yes. So they're not being hard on yourself, kind of thing.
Well, I think
like-
that you consider, in a sense, I would say the boot is somebody else forcing the situation to go forward, to do whatever it is that whoever is the boot wielder, you know, in this case, in my case, it was the boot camp drill instructor. Everybody needs to walk the same as this group. And how are you going to get them to walk the same, you know? Now, not everybody in the group was able to talk to everyone else in the group and tell them, okay, left foot now, right foot now, left foot now, right foot now, just as a basic level, right? So somebody else was directing. Now we could have a high frequency group helping direct, but in the case of this group of boot camp people, they were missing their home, they're missing their wife, they're missing their family, they wish they could go drinking, they wanted to do this, they wish they were there, they can't stand sleeping here, they don't like these clothes, they're all distracted, right, with a million things. So they use the boot to bring them all focused. So we don't need a boot to focus us. We have our own desire to function as a high frequency group, as our self-created, not a boot, self-created purpose, reason why. So that's instead of the boot. But we have to acknowledge it, that we don't need a boot. That means we got to grow up and do it. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
We
thank you.
ability.
And if I understand it, it's like the boot is like the authority, if you will, like.
Yeah,
It's
the
essentially-
authority not resist.
Yeah.
Resistance is futile.
Yeah. So
So
it's
being your
just
own,
really-
own authority, being your own authority and don't
Being
waiting for somebody, being responsible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Response.
Yeah.
It's like, understand this feeling's coming. And in the case of a boot camp, somebody else will snap you back in line. But in the case of this high frequency groups, you're the one who snaps yourself back into line, and you snap yourself back into line using your high frequency toolkit.
Right. And going on the same boat with this, I see that discipline and consistency is another characteristic that needs to be there, because otherwise today I process something and I process 2 more days and it's done or something like that, but tomorrow I decide to drop it for some reason, or I forgot or something like that, and then okay, here we go again. So
Okay.
having and also adding an ease to this, I like oftentimes I hear Inelia saying, when doing something or projects, taking 5 seconds, for example, do that for 5 seconds today and then come back tomorrow. So when I hear 5 seconds, oh my God, of course I can do it. But when for some reason there's a tendency, at least in my experience, why 5 seconds when you can do 2 hours, right? So why let's do 5 seconds for a month, and then we can increase to 1 minute or something like that.
Or something.
Yeah, it builds up that consistency and discipline that it's needing in a way, in order to keep the ball rolling and the frequency increasing.
Yes, I totally resonate with consistency, and so be there, do the work, and be present and have the intention to connect. I think it's important to have that intention clear. Otherwise, many other distractions like work alone or many other things can get your attention and your energy. And as we've been educated, right, as lone wolves, it's so easy to fall into that and become distracted. But if you put your focus and your goal, like connection comes first, then it's easy. You remember and then you do what you need to do. And then it becomes like, it becomes more natural, but it becomes natural by doing it, not by wishing it would happen.
Yeah,
someday. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. It's being proactive about connecting. And there's a lot of ways to connect, right? And some groups might have different ways of connecting, or individuals within a group might prefer other ways of connecting. But as a group, there's got to be connection or some kind of focus to help with that connection. And that can come in a lot of different ways, right? I think for us as facilitators for a while, especially when we were working on the workshop, we were connecting through work. And then at some point we were like, we should just hang out and just like, you know, hang and not work and just chit chat. And that was a really important point of connection. It's so interesting. I've also seen the opposite too, where fairies and cats are just fluttering about, or, you know, and it's like, hey, why don't we focus on something? So it can really depend. But if the connection at the end of the day is key, I think.
Yeah, I think that came in with from Inelia actually as a recommendation for us to start just connecting, spend time together. And it there's definitely firewalls that came up through it. I think like I missed like so many of the meetings in the beginning, just like not even aware that it was happening. But it was one of those situations where the more like we kept showing up, and everybody, our strength, right? Like for that example I just made of not being there, the fact that everyone else or some of the people showed up and had a great time and shared pictures, and it's like pinging, hey, don't forget tomorrow we have a meeting, or today our meeting just started, guys, join, you know, like using our strength in that situation really helps to create that space and to draw us all into it as well, right? Like it's not that somebody's forcing everybody to come into, hey, let's play, you know, but having the openness to bring everybody in, the encouragement, understanding that we're all in different places with it, right? Like we all have our own perspectives as an individual. So coming together, we have to come together with that as well, right? And it's not a judgment, it's not critical, my way is better than your way, or why didn't you do this? I can't believe you. It's like, all right, you can do it. Come on, you can do it. So yeah, it's I think been really transformative having those that space to get together and to play and get to know each other, get connected. But as us, you know, we are all connected in so many other ways too in our lives, with other projects, other trainings, just proximity because we live near each other. But that playtime seemed to be really beneficial for us.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I just want to add one thing that it comes to mind when I'm listening to Ashley and what everybody's pointing out about the connection, because I remember that sometimes one of the challenges on groups, it can be like when there is no connection, when that component is missing, is that we take it personal, right? Or like the communication gets distorted, but a tool can be just asking, did you mean this and that, or just kind of clarifying what we're hearing. But yeah, I think that the challenge sometimes can be like when there's no connection is like, or when it's not healthy, you take things very personal. But when it's healthy, it's a simple question. Oh, did you mean this and that? And you can just clarify what is being said or intended. And you know that intent in a healthy group is not to harm anyone, right? It's just the group.
Yeah, clarifying is so powerful.
Yep.
Right?
There's no boot in a high frequency group.
Yeah.
That could be a bumper sticker.
And as Larry said, there's a lot of rights.
Yeah.
You know? And that responsibility, I think also that Larry mentioned as well, and Alex spoke about being diligent, you know, recognizing, okay, this is an area that maybe is not my strength, but I can work on that, you know, or I'm aware of it and I'm going to intend to do better with that.
Yep. So any other last minute tips or tools for our audience to practice with when working with or engaging in high frequency groups? What's your go-to tool when you need something or you're, what was that, Larry?
I was gonna say that I would suggest that there are good places to find high frequency groups.
Such as?
Good places. And I think the good places are things like Walk With Me Now. Pretty excellent place to find high frequency group members. You need to find your tribe. And don't be shy, because they want to find you too.
It's true. And there are so many subgroups and communities, even just in Walk With Me Now. So chances are you'll find a group that you're going to be interested in, because there's about 10,000 of them going on. Yeah, great point. Find other high frequency, like-minded people.
Yeah.
We're
Yes.
all, you know.
Very
Let's
good
do
point,
it.
girls. And why I would say, like, stay connected. Just stay connected. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll also add the class that was done by Larry and Inelia and offered to their Subscribe Star followers as well as Walk With Me Now members. It's called Work, Family, and Friends. But essentially that class was such a game changer. Like personally, looking at the different tools that they outline in even just signs like of, hey, I've gone into some negativity here, or I'm talking badly about somebody else in a group and what kind of damage that can cause, or ways to respond to that if somebody else is doing that. Those are just a couple of examples, but there's so many tools in there. I highly recommend it as a fabulous resource to really get some good structure into how to proceed and engage in high frequency in groups.
Cool.
Yeah.
The last one I'll add. Oh, go ahead, Adeline.
I just said awesome.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah, there's so many great ones. This one will be really quick, but there's just so much to relearn, right? And for me, it always comes back down to doing the fear processing exercise. It's amazing just how, when you really distill like what the energy line is, it's like a fear of this, a fear of that, or, and it's so simple. And even that can apply in so many group dynamics, and that can be so transformative, because even just processing a fear can transform how you approach group and your experience of the group. So always a good foundational tool to use, for sure.
For sure.
Well, thank you so much to our fabulous tribe for joining us today. This has been amazing. And it's been quite a journey for sure. And we're just getting started too, right? So if you haven't found your tribes, because you can definitely have more than one, there's a lot of really interesting things happening Walk With Me Now, and also the tools on ineliabenz.com. And also for us at the Academy, there's some amazing groups and co-creations that are happening. So get doing, be proactive, and find your groups, because we can't create the new paradigm alone, or it will be very difficult if you try. So you might as well have fun doing it.
Let's set ourselves up for success.
Yes. Well,
Let's
thank
do
you
it.
to our fabulous facilitators for joining us today.
Yes.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you for the
Us.
invitation.
Thanks.
Yes.
Big hug.
Bye.
See you next time.
Bye.